Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Chiravanachari Yamuna Chiravanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Radha Madhava Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Chiravanachari Yamuna Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Chiravanachari Yamuna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Continuing to read Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th chapter, canto. Aila Gita. Chapter was 26. Verse 3 and 4. Shinitai Gaurachandra ki jai. You open. Sangam na kuryata satam Shishno. Sangam na kuryata satam. You can chant. Shishno daratripam kvachit. Tasyanugastamas andhe. Patati andhanuga. Patach andhanugantvavat. Sangam na kuryata satam Vishnodaratripam kvachit Tasyanugastamas andhe Patach andhanugandhavat. Sangam na kuryata satam Vishnodaratripam kvachit Tasyanugastamas andhe Patyanugandhavat. Word by word translation. Sangam, association. Nakuryat, one should never make. Asatam, of those who are materialistic. Shishna, the genitals. Udara, and the belly. Tripam, who are devoted to gratifying. Kvachit, at any time. Tasya, of any such person. Anuga, the follower. Tamasi andhe, into the darkness pit. Patati, he falls. Andha anuga, following a blind man. Andhavat, just like another blind man. Also we have Ramgopal Prabhu. Ramgopal Prabhu, do you want to listen lecture? Рамгопал Прабху, вы хотите лекцию слушать? Или вы заняты? I don't know, maybe if he is not here, then we don't need translation, yeah? Okay, translation of verse. One should never associate with materialists, those dedicated to gratifying their genitals and bellies. By following them, one falls into the deepest pit of darkness, just like a blind man who follows another blind man. And next verse, I will read it by myself. Ayla samharatimam gandham agayata brihachravaha urvashi virahan mahyan nirvinna soka samyame. Translation. The following song was sung by the famous emperor Pururava. When deprived of his wife Urvashi, he was at first bewildered, but by controlling his lamentation, he began to feel detachment. Purport. This story is also narrated in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Aila or Pururava was a great king whose glories were vast. And on being separated from Urvashi, he felt great bewilderment at first. But after meeting her briefly at Kurukshetra, he worshipped the demigods with a sacrificial fire given him by the Gandharvas, and received the privilege of entering the planet where she resided. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Miritamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutare Svayarupam Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vanchikalpatarubhishya Kripasindhubevicha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So what's about translation? We don't do, or we want to do? It's okay, without? Yeah. But if somebody put comment, you will see on Facebook. Okay, we will speak today in English, and if someone need translation who watching broadcasting, please write to us some comment, then we can arrange. Otherwise, we will make just in English. So we continue our story about King Pururava. This chapter is called Aila Gita, Song of King Pururava, or his another name was Aila. And this chapter explains about his realization about devotional service, about when he, how to say, was what is this? Chapter is called Aila Gita, Song of King. Sound. His name was Aila. Okay. Yeah. And he was disappointed because of these material relationships, and he got some realization. I don't remember. I didn't read all the story now. He got realization because of Narada Muni, or who gave to him instruction? Do you remember? Pururava. Yeah, Pururava. Yeah, how he like started the song, this Aila Gita. It looks like he was attached to Purvashi. He was materially engrossed, but then he was enlightened, and he started to speak about devotional service. And usually it happens because of some association. But I mean, some association. Yeah.
So probably he was a powerful king, so maybe some sage.
Okay. And today verse explain about asat sangha and sadhu sangha. Like previous verse, it was saying that one should never associate with materialists, those dedicated to gratifying their genitals and bellies. By following them, one falls into the deepest pit of darkness, just like a blind man who follows another blind man. And it explains that by associating with materialists who dedicated for material enjoyment and following them, one falls in the deepest pit of darkness. And it's like dangerous to associate with people who materially engrossed, who materially attached. Because of this, Srila Prabhupada created this International Society for Krishna Consciousness to help people to get proper association and practice. And by coming together to temples, associating with each other, devotees become more inspired, more enlightened, happier, and they're going in a proper direction. And otherwise, if you don't do this, it will be more chances that we associate with non-devotees. And also, like in Bhagavad Gita, it is, for example, in 4th canto, explain about transcendental knowledge. And it says that transcendental knowledge is like a fire which can burn our material, so results of sinful activities and material desires. And transcendental knowledge is very important because just by getting spiritual knowledge, by reading Prabhupada books, by attending lectures, by listening lectures of our gurus, we can remind ourselves about importance of spiritual life, about our position here, about who we are, what we're doing in this world, where we are from, and what we need to do. And by having this association, we become enlightened, and the result of this is that we become more focused on devotional service and less focused on material needs. And even when we have material needs, we will do this only for praising Krishna. But when we don't have association with each other, with Srila Prabhupada books, with sadhus, this process is gradual. It's not just like immediately we fall in the deepest illusion. Of course, we are like devotees, we chant and so on. But for example, in Krishna book, it is given example about brahmanas. In this comparison about, how we call this, roads, what is some, how to say in English, like some grass. It's not roads. Roads is for car, but where people go, how you call this in English? It's also road. It's also road. Paths, maybe paths. And they become like many like grass start to grow if people not coming by this path, by these roads. I remember this example. It's like brahmanas who don't treat some grass and yeah, and yes, like brahmanas who don't read Vedic scriptures, they become like a road, what is like a lot of grass. And it is said that we also, if we don't put enough attention to getting spiritual knowledge by reading books, by associating with devotees, we lost our goal, and gradually we become more engrossed in material activities. Especially nowadays, you can also see sometimes devotees, they become more experienced, and they gradually understand about these principles of Yukta Vairagya. They're trying to see everything like in a broader way, and they trying to engage everything in service to Krishna. But sometimes by going too much in some material progress, they think, for example, we have to learn how to be very healthy, and they started to listen and read different things about health, or in the yoga, or do something like, okay, we have to do very nice harinams, we have to learn how to sing properly, we have to go to vocal teacher and train our vocal cords and become very professional on this. We have to, these people watch at us and they have to be inspired. Yeah, it's true, of course, we can do this. But sometimes, by associating too much and by going too much in this material, how to say, like addition things, and by neglecting some bases, we can little bit lost direction. And it happens. Devotees who don't live in the temples or who not associates enough with devotees who don't read Prabhupada books, they become more like focused on some material things. In family life, in work, they're trying to be good people. It's important. We have to show good example. But first of all, we have to remember about main goal of life, about our relationship with Krishna, about pure devotional service, and understand that we have to try to do everything to please Krishna and get spiritual knowledge which help to us to be focused in pure devotional service. Yeah, it is said also that Manushinam sahasrishu kashid dadati siddhaya yatatam api siddhanam evam evit tatvata. That from the millions of people or thousands of people, only few looking for perfection, and only from that people who looking for perfection, only few really understand truth. And we can understand that it's like rare when people interested in spiritual knowledge. And from those who are interested, also only few really realize Krishna. It means that even who are interested in spiritual knowledge, not everyone interested in pure devotional service, because many can be interested in some different things. In all Srimad Bhagavatam, when we read, it is said many points about different deviations, about different material desires, performance of engagement too much in material sacrifices for material purposes, for go to heavenly planets, to have a better life, more enjoyments. Like all the story about this King Pururava, he wanted to enjoy a lot. Like yesterday, Dhruvananda Prabhu nicely explained about this. His story, like he was traveling around many planets in his Viman with this Urvashi. He was enjoying beautiful nature, some like nice places, forests, rivers, lakes, seas, and they was enjoying together, traveling. We have this tendency because it's our nature of the soul, it's Ananda Maya Bhyasat. We want to be happy. We want to have a happiness, yeah. But real happiness is different, and Vedic knowledge and sadhus help to us to understand better what is the real. They give to us the knowledge. And because of this king, Pururava, he started to sing this Ayala Gita, and he says, one should never associate with materialists, those dedicated to gratifying their genitals and bellies. Yeah, materialists, they mostly what they do, like Prabhupada was saying about family life, that when you have a good wife, in like daytime, yeah, this also, but I'm connected to bellies and genitals. It says that wife cook nice food for the husband. He want to please him, and husband become, he want to enjoy this food, and in daytime he enjoy this food, and he like have a good time with family. Of course, he have to work and maintain all this, but when he comes from work, he enjoys this association with family. But in the night, wives give to pleasure to, sexual pleasure, and he enjoyed the sexual life. And because of this, he become more and more entangled in material consciousness, and he forget about his real self. And here this King Purava, he advised, one should never associate with materialists, because it's dangerous. We can also read some verses from scriptures about association with sadhu and maybe opposite. Why is it important for us? I will open my laptop. Just a moment. For example, Srimad Bhagavatam 4, 20-25. Better if I have in Russian, I will open Gita base. Gita base. This is translation. My dear Lord, you are glorified by the selected verses uttered by great personalities. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from the mouth of great devotees carries the aroma of the saffron dust of your lotus feet, the forgetful living entity gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore do not need any other benediction, but the opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotee. Yeah, this is opposite. It's like on one side we have to avoid association with materialists, on another side we have to find association with sadhu. Sadhu. And like this verse say that the dust of the pure devotees is like only what we need, because when the transcendental vibration from the mouth of great devotees carries the aroma of the saffron dust of your lotus feet, the forgetful living entity gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Yeah, because normal position in material world of living entities, it's not like enlightenment, it's something opposite, ignorance. It is said that we recite before Srimad Bhagavatam, Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Vina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. That Om Jnana Timirandasya. Spiritual Master opened our eyes by the torch of light, and he gave to us spiritual vision, and we offered him obeisance because mostly we are in ignorance. But devotees, they like carry the aroma of the saffron dust, and forgetful living entity gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Yeah, like also this song Shat Goswami Ashtak says that Goswamis of Vrindavan, they were singing these songs glorifying God, they was helping to all people become free from the this, how you call this, from the miseries of material life, from this illusion. Impersonalism also, yeah. And this is a task of devotees, like goal of devotees, what they do. They're trying to glorify God whenever they go, they're glorifying God and help to others to, also they enjoying this and enjoying themselves, and they also help others to get to the spiritual platform. And also one more quote from book of Bhaktivedanta Saraswati, Vaishnavism, True and False. Okay, I have in Russian, I translate by Google. It'll be faster. Vaishnavas are the wells of this world, those who serve the Supreme Lord under their guidance, follow the instructions of the Lord, and perform the rituals of worshipping Him, and all the rest live and die in vain.
All the rest live and die in vain.
You understood, yeah?
All the rest, everyone else?
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, all the rest live and die in vain. The rest decoration of our heads should be the dust from their feet. The best food is the remnants of their food, and the best drink is the water with which their holy feet were washed. This and this alone can rekindle devoted love in us. Who but a Vaishnava will save us, blinded living beings, from the guidance of the blind and from the attacks of the ever-increasing insatiable lust, anger, envy, illusion, and selfishness? We grope in the dark labyrinth of this world and do not know where our path lies. Yes, beautiful explanation that devotees want to have a dust from the feet and their head and remnants on the food and drink, because like association with devotees, it's everything what we need. And without this, we just have attacks of this lust, anger, envy. Yeah, it's true. In material world, we engross in this. Because of illusion, we have all these our 6 enemies. Maybe some more verses. In Chaitanya Charitamrita's verse, Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Haya Sadhusanga, Krishna Prema Janme Tenho Munach Mukhya Anga. It said that by Sadhusanga, it's okay, make translation. Okay. The root cause of devotional service to Lord Krishna is association with exalted devotees. But even when dormant love of Krishna has awakened in one's heart, association with devotees remains a principle of paramount importance. Yeah, just Sadhusanga is like what's helped to us to become enlightened. But even when love is like awakened, it is said that this Sadhusanga remains this main activity, because devotees. This verse from Bhagavad Gita, Tashanticha Romanticha. Devotees enjoy association with each other by glorifying God. Okay, we devotees, we understand about the importance of all of this, and I would like also to say a little bit about what is this pure devotional service. Of course, I'm not qualified to say about pure devotional service, but by just following our acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, we can a little bit read about this. I recently was reading Science of Self-Realization, some chapters of it, and the last chapters of Science of Self-Realization. Have you read this book?
Yes, for sure.
Yes, very famous book. Yeah, last few chapters they say about pure love, love of, like highest goal of life. It is like a love of God, and this chapter, not last but one before, it's called the highest love. I will read a little bit. If one protects a tender creeper of devotional service nicely, then gradually it will produce the fruit of unalloyed love for God. Unalloyed love for God means love that is not tinged by desire for material benefit, for mere philosophical understanding, nor for fruitive results. Unalloyed love is to know God is great, I am His part and parcel, and therefore He is my supreme lovable object. This consciousness is the highest perfection of human life, and the ultimate aim of all methods of self-realization. If one reaches this point, God is my only beloved, Krishna is the only lovable object, then one's life is perfect. And when one tastes that transcendental relationship with Krishna, then one feels real happiness. Real happiness. Yeah, when one tastes this transcendental relationship with Krishna, like pure devotional service, then one feels real happiness. The devotional creeper will then be so strongly protected that just by catching hold of it, one will be able to reach the supreme destination. If one climbs steadily up a tree, one eventually comes to the very top. Similarly, if one can achieve love of Godhead by catching the devotional creeper, there is no doubt that one will reach the transcendental abode of Krishna and will associate with Him personally, just as we are associating here face to face. Yeah, Prabhupada will give a nice also explanation about different rasas with Krishna, about like cows, birds and different animals in Vrindavana. Because of their pure devotional service, of course they in the neutral rasa, but because of their purity, they attain this level when they can enjoy with Krishna and His friends. Prabhupada say this: Krishna's friends, they just want to play with Krishna. They all the time think about Him. Even when they sleep, they think about Krishna. And in morning they come to Krishna's home and they wait till Krishna will be decorated by Mother Yashoda and by other gopis, and they want to play with him. And they then go together in forest and have a nice time. And Prabhupada say also that it's not like this crazy material life, when you have to go to work by car like 1 hour and all this, big buildings, factories and everything, this ugra karma is different. Spiritual life is like you have everything in spiritual world. You have a perfect relationship with God and with other devotees who is also like they not selfish. They selfless. They want to serve God, and it will be we always want to associate with pure devotees, and when we go to spiritual world, we will be surrounded by all the pure devotees. And it's a perfect situation. And Prabhupada say that to achieve this, we have to be free from material desires. And of course, it's like something very rare in this material world. Like it is said, Bahunam janmanamante gyanavan mama prapadyante vasudeva sarvamati samahatma sudurlabha. The person who, after many births, understood that Krishna is the goal of life, he surrendered to him. Gyanavan mam prapadyante. But samahatma is not like everywhere, but samahatma is very rare. And it is said that Prabhupada was saying that if we expect something from Krishna, then we cannot develop pure devotional service, pure love. Of course, it is some verses say that even if we have material desires and so on, we have to ask Krishna for them, not some demigods, for example. Prabhupada mentioned about this. But still, it's not pure devotional service, and it's gradually helped to us to come the platform of pure devotional service, because we choose Krishna. We don't choose someone else. We depend from Him, but Krishna, he has how we call this, cunning. He can arrange gradually everything. Like for Dhruva Maharaj, even he didn't have pure purpose in beginning, but because he was serving Krishna, or who Vasudeva, he attained this pure devotional service. And he said in the end that I don't need anything else. All this else is like just, how you call this in English? Осколки разбитого стекла, broken glass. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just I wanted to also mention that I'm also lately was thinking about this, and by reading this chapter I was thinking about, sometimes we do some service and we expect something or we use the fruits of this service for our enjoyment. It can be different. Sometimes fruits it's be like some desire of prestige, desire to have a good family, good wife, good children, or like for brahmacharis, what it can be. Yeah, it's prestige. I'm like, I'm a good book distributor. I'm a good, I don't know, someone, cook, temple commander. Of course, we have to try to be good, but not to have a prestige. It's not like I'm serve Krishna many years in some temple, and then I gradually get a good room, good, people respect me, and I they don't ask me to do what I don't like to do, and because I gradually come the platform of senior, and I use my prestige to do what I want. And it means that we use devotional service for some purpose. We want to use all these facilities what come to us to enjoy ourselves. But pure devotional service, we can read many nice examples from Chaitanya Charitamrita, like Goswami of Vrindavana, like Raghunath Goswami, Raghunath Das, or Rupa Sanatana. They was, sometimes they was neglecting their health. They didn't eat enough. They was going through the desert without shoes. Sometimes we think, okay, so why we should do this, but there was some reason why they did this, because Raghunath, I think in the story Raghunath Das Goswami, he was chanting all the time the japa, and he neglecting his needs about eating and so on, sleeping, and even there is picture when Radharani comes and put him chadar. In my room I printed this picture, because devotee, he just want to serve. Sometimes he neglects his needs, and he want to please Krishna. Of course, we cannot imitate Goswamis, to do such big austerities, but still we have to try to be focused on this pure devotional service and try to, like Prabhupada say, if one protects the tender creeper of devotional service nicely, then gradually it will produce the fruit of unalloyed love for God. Yeah, this creeper should be protected, and it is important for us to notice if something unpure comes, and we have to try to, okay, I'm serving some temple for so many years, and I have a good room. I have some, became temple commander. I can say to people, they can clean temple room. I don't need to clean temple room, or I don't need to clean the pots anymore, or I become very senior. I can only, read lectures. It's nice, of course. We have to do this. We have to do good education to invite, help to other people to grow, to devotional standards. But it means we also should be sincere and sometimes not neglect something what is needed. If we need to wash something, we go and wash. And we invited some people to make some maha cleaning, and we can also try to help do it with them. And it's many, many things. It can be very different. But it's important that we try to not to use the fruits of our devotional service to our enjoyment. Like Prabhupada, he did so much. He was traveling around the world, inspiring many people. Sometimes he was sleeping in some devotees was just building a temple, and he didn't expect that they will rent for him some good apartment. He wanted to live in the temple, what is not finished. He wanted to go, and sometimes he was sleeping in the hut, in Mayapur. Yeah. Of course, there is a principle of Yukta Vairagya, and devotees also use this, because why we have a nice temples, why we have a marble everywhere, not in all the temples, but we have these things. Devotees build nice temples. Yeah, but by principle of this, Prabhupada explained about Yukta Vairagya. He said that devotees, they know that Prabhupada was saying that if I just come to New York and sit under the tree, how many people will come and join me? Because these material people, they too much attached for material enjoyment, to good facilities of life. They build these skyscrapers, they have a nice life, everything beautiful, good furniture and good food. They want to enjoy it. But pure devotees, they use this not for his enjoyment. Trying to organize our temples also in such a way that they become beautiful. People can inspire it to come, because if temple is really beautiful, it's just it's for people it's becoming like new Vrindavan. People build this temple, and nowadays many people just go to this temple how you call this? Like what? Prestigious, yeah. Yeah, just to see, oh wow, nice temple. People traveling to the Europe, to different cities, they want to see beautiful architecture, beautiful temples. Not maybe because they're too much, spiritually advanced. They want to go to the temple because of architecture, because some beautiful there. And also the pure devotee use this they use the money what comes from people and from donations, from the book distribution to organize everything nicely. The temple should be good, nice, smell nice, food nice, marble and beautiful music going on, and people will come and enjoy this. And also pure devotee can give a lecture there or sing a kirtan, and devotees can also get benefit by associating with pure devotees. They coming to this nice temple, they can get association of pure devotees, and they can awaken their creeper of devotional service. Like this verse say, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasadipaya Bhakti Lata Bija. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona, just this soul wandering around the Brahmanda, around the different universes, and by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, they get the seed of devotional service. Guru Krishna Prasada Paya Bhakti Lata Bija, and they start the devotional service. Yeah, this Prabhupada and Bhaktivedanta Saraswati, our Acharya, they wanted to use this for serving Krishna, and Prabhupada was saying, we don't need all this. We can live in a simple life. We don't need all this. But we do this just to attract people. It should be understood also properly, not just I build nice temple and then we fight brahmacharis or I don't know, some like temple residents, they fight with each other to have a better room. It happens. Well, like in Bhaktivedanta Saraswati time it was happened, and even in Prabhupada times it also happens. But yeah, pure devotional service, when we're trying to focus in a service to Krishna, we by ourselves trying to be happy, like it is said here, by rendering like when one tastes transcendental relationship with Krishna, then one feels real happiness. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is verse Savaim pupsam paro dharmo yato bhakti rathokshji ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. Also this verse is about yayatma suprasidati. This in Zurich, this one nice devotee, Bhagavadaram Prabhu, he was explaining about this verse. He also was saying that we are all like Ananda Maya Bhyasat, we want to enjoy. In this verse also, yayatma suprasidati. We want that our soul will be fully satisfied. Atma, suprasidati. He was explaining this, suprasidati. Prasidati, what is prasidati? Somebody remember?
Like satisfaction.
Satisfaction, yeah. And so it means like higher level of satisfaction. It's like super satisfaction. Suprasidati. And yayatma suprasidati. And it is said it is available by ahaituki apratihata. Ahaituki, it means unconditioned. And apratihata, it means when we always engage in devotion service. Not just 1 hour I do service and another week I don't know, I just enjoy by myself. It's of course it's a beginning, but gradually devotees rise to the platform when they trying to serve Krishna more and more. And second principle is like selfless service. It's very important. And it's because of this, all this principle given to us, principles of devotional service was helped to, this in Nectar of Devotion explain about different seva paradhas, what we have to avoid, because also principles about sattva guna and avoiding of tamaguna. Because to rise to the Prabhupada was saying that without sattva guna we cannot, it's like we cannot go to the spiritual platform. It's the same like without finishing the school you cannot go to the university. And if we have to try to pay attention for everything, for small details also, it's not just it's not just immediately we can understand about what is pure devotional service, what is not pure. Because to able recognize what is recognize our anarthas, what is, do I have a greed, do I have an anger, do I have a lust, do I have an illusion or not? It is said in Bhagavad Gita that who is in ignorance, he take unreligion like religion, or like because of ignorance people they can take some what is a religion like unreligion like a religion, what is what is not good like they think like what is good they not good they took like a good. And because of this Prabhupada emphasizing about this, like we're doing in the temple sadhana, it's very helpful for sattva guna to rise early. This is a simple principle, but even nowadays, who is from Grihasthas following this? I was listening the Prabhupada class, probably just today. It was today morning. And Prabhupada was saying, we can live in a temple, but we can maybe not live in a temple. Sometimes he said, if you disagree with your God brothers, you will live not in a temple. But most important, you should follow principles of devotional service. Because by following principles, you can be in a proper platform. But if we don't live in a temple, if we don't follow principles, if we don't rise early, if you don't, read Prabhupada books enough and don't chant nice japa in morning time and not engage in devotional service enough, then how we can be in a spiritual platform? Because of this, it's important to also, it's just important to say about this. Because when we say about this, it's remind to us about importance of this, about sattva guna, avoiding tamaguna, about following this morning program. it is also said that, for example, morning wake up early, it's beneficial because sattva guna present in a different times of the day, different guna present. Yeah, Jagdishwar Prabhu, are you here?
Yes, I'm
No, it's not about somebody here. It's just we discuss knowledge. It's not something we say somebody wrong, somebody right. I have many faults by myself also. I have many tamaguna myself.
Yes, sattva guna is Brahma Muhurta.
Yeah, and it is said when we wake up in the morning, we start our day from the sattva. If you especially wake up at 4 o'clock, you start your day. We sleep, and this time ignorance. The night and sleeping, it's ignorance. And from ignorance, we go to the sattva. And when we start the day with sattva, then good japa, good mangalarati with devotees, and Bhagavatam, prasad, nice beginning of the day. But if you don't start with sattva, for example, if one wake up, it's like after 7, after 8, he start his day skipping this also sattva time. He start from tamas to rajas. And what we can expect how day will go from the rajas. If you start day from tamas, you went to rajas, how day will go? Of course, it will not be the same. Yeah.
Question apparently. It's obviously, you're obviously right, definitely right. It's like not possible to live a spiritual life, not rising in the morning. It's not impossible, just you wrong.
You can take microphone. Can you please take microphone? Maybe who watching they understand English. Many people understand English.
So anyway, Prabhupada, we can find a quote, even Srila Prabhupada says, that it's not possible to live a spiritual life without rising early in the morning.
Yeah.
So, as an aspiring transcendentalist, someone might find quite difficult task to maintain a busy devotional temple life, and and also rising early in the morning. But for the one who had actually awakened some feeling for this spiritual practice, for Krishna, who has tender feelings for his guru, for deities, for devotees, he would be excited every morning to wake up, no matter what the situation is.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, I have a question regarding this. I'm experiencing myself recently. Like yesterday, I woke up a few minutes before Mangalarati, and it just happened. I don't know how it happened actually, but the body sometimes it works that way, and I just thought sometimes it would be just sattva guna. It's my own my speculation,
yes.
But maybe you can approve or disapprove. But sometimes it will be you'll be performing in sattva guna if you at least one day you give a rest and wake up after 7, wake up after 8, and your body will function and your mind will function a little bit in a more of a proper way. Of course we shouldn't put it in a cost of Mangalarati. That is like a food. It's necessary, especially for brahmacharis, especially for grihastas. It's their only hope. So yeah. But sometimes you find sometimes your body is just required some extra rest. I think it's just spending one day and singing maybe Mangalarti, and then going to rest, and some rest is required.
Yeah, of course.
But it's necessary also to adjust your life in a proper way that you won't miss, you won't get tired, you can maintain for a long period. So that's sattva guna that you Brahmanas they are in sattva guna because also they do things in proper time, in proper way, they're punctual, and they said early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy and wise.
Yeah,
Right? you first rule is just you have to go rest early, like and then you automatically will wake up in the morning. So this I just thought,
You wanted to add also?
I have things to say, but I know that you probably prepared something you want to say. So I just wanted to request you that we continue, but if you give me a little bit of time at the end, we can discuss.
Yeah.
It's very interesting topic.
Yeah, we already, in principle, we can discuss. I just can also make a little comment about what you said. No, it's good. Thank you very much for sharing. It's nice to have a discussion always, because like when the discussion happens, it's like helps to understand better and also to see from different perspectives about devotional service. Yeah, like it is Bhagavad Gita also said that yogi have to be balanced in eating, sleeping, rest, and these things. And proper rest very important, because I also see sometimes because of some fanatism, we as devotees, we understand devotional service is our main activity. We're trying to serve the Krishna all the time, to do something for him. But rest also can be very beneficial, because sometimes we do something same all the time because we're tired, because we're trying to do our best, but because of different pressure of different situation, it's sometimes difficult to think outside of the box, and because of also this tiredness, and some good rest, or just go somewhere to nature or to Prabhupada also, he was doing a lot for health, morning walks, massage, and good diet. And so he was also traveling sometimes to good countries to get a little bit rest from, because it's helpful. It's really helpful. Yeah. But I must say, my experience, what I can say about Mangalarati, I'm trying to wake up, even if I have a bus, I'm trying, night bus, but I'm trying to go, because I see that this time is really very auspicious. And for me, like, better to make some nap during the day, like morning, or maybe like I just after breakfast, or like sometime when I have time, I can go have a nap for half an hour and 20 minutes. No, it depends, of course. If you sleep like 2 hours in the night, maybe you need a little bit more. But if it's not so bad, then maybe, or just go somewhere, because if you're tired, you just go from temple somewhere and just a little bit spend time, I don't know, in the nature, and this can be also help to. But I think this I see by myself when I skip Mangalarati, when I skip morning program, my day become different. I just feel like, for me, more difficult to control my senses, my anger sometimes. Some different things more, how to say, раздражают, these words. Like if somebody disturb you, this is more difficult to tolerate when somebody disturb you. You become easily become angry. Yeah. Yeah, this is important. We have to follow. We already follow, but we have to speak about this also, that inspire others to follow. Because Prabhupada emphasizing a lot about this Mangalarati, morning program. Wake up early, because it's very beneficial. It's very helpful for to rise to higher platform of devotion service. Because in Sattva Guna, when we're in Sattva Guna, we will be more tend to read Prabhupada books, to go deeper in spiritual life, to become more conscious about, as I mentioned before, about about our qualities, what we're doing. We can easily notice that I'm doing something wrong, and I can correct myself. Because if we in passion and tamaguna, if we just not pay enough attention to sattva, that it will, passion and tamas, it means I am attached for some results. Passion especially. I want to, especially family life, you need family, you have a family, you need to maintain family. And because of this, you will be attached to get money, to have a better home. In the name of also the same Yukta Vairagya, sometimes you think, okay, I have to buy new curtains. You have good curtains, you think, I need to better curtains. Especially your wife can inspire you, or maybe some better, change, make some renovation, buy a better car. Yeah. But all this, even family life, all this should be used for spiritual advancement. If you have a good home, invite devotees, make namahata there, make bhakti vriksha, make good kirtan. It's not just for enjoyment. In Krishna book it is mentioned that the house of a householder who is in illusion is become like a prison. Wife and children become like thieves who steal from you. And something about also this in Czechos. I don't remember what's the analogy. But yeah, it becomes like all this. It become unauspicious. But if you use for Krishna, it become auspicious. Okay, we can discuss something what we spoken today.
It's good to hear, just because sometimes we think we have to create some wonderful thing to say, but if you just try to understand what Prabhupada has written in the basic things, and then we repeat them, it actually has a wonderful effect for us and for others. So that's good. Thank you for having that mood and example. And I was thinking, there's so many things I wanted to say, but I'll just mention a couple about this rising early. So the getting up early for me is a mixed bag. Sometimes it's blissful, I love it, I feel great, I feel so happy, Mangalarti, peaceful, I want to chant the holy names. Other times I feel like, man, I just want to lie down, my body's aching, I don't want to talk to anybody, I just want to skip this, But, and I realized one thing, that time is very auspicious. Brahma Muhurta is very, very, actually I don't think I realize how auspicious it is. And for a spiritual person, or for you could say a learned person who's sensitive to the movement of time and the day's order, they can feel each time of day and its purpose, and they don't have to think too much about it. They just naturally feel, like Krishna has his Ashtakaliya Leela. Of course, that's a spiritual, but anyway, here the Brahma Muhurta is so powerful and so potent. It's like you put a seed in good soil, and you can expect it will grow and give good fruit. So it's such a potent, fertile time of day. But for someone like me who's coming, my background is so low, Tamaguna, like 99%, and then whatever is left is Rajaguna. I don't have any sattva. So by my guru's mercy, he pulled me out of the gutter, and he's from a distance with his spray hose, he's cleaning me off. So it's his mercy, but that I can get up. But basically, I think Prabhupada explained this principle once in Mayapur with his disciples who were managing the grounds, and they were mismanaging because they thought, the Bengali visitors, they're not very high class, therefore their toilets don't need to be managed, they can just be dirty. And Prabhupada said, no, you come from Western countries, you know what a toilet should be, how it has to be clean and neat, and you go there, you disinfect all the toilets, you clean it, you put a sign, you make sure this place is maintained nicely. What are you doing? And then he said, because you have tamaguna, therefore when you see tamaguna, you don't feel anything. But if you have sattvaguna, when you see tamaguna, immediately you will not be able to tolerate, you will do something. It's like a chemical reaction, he said. So for me, sometimes Brahma Muhurta is very uncomfortable because of my tamaguna in me. It's my tamaguna that I've cultivated over a lifetime. So therefore, I wake up and sometimes I experience Brahma Muhurta, there's nasty thoughts in my head, I feel horrible, and I don't want to do anything. It's not that sometimes this a friend, like a karmi, will tell me, hey, why don't you just sleep, get rest, you'll feel better. Just get up later, why are you forcing yourself to get up so early? But yeah, it's because it's a little bit painful in the beginning when you have to get disinfected from all those lower modes that are in us. So that's one thing to remember, and not to fall into this material calculation that, I shouldn't do this austerity because it's too unnatural. A little austerity is required, right? Because that's how we get purified. So that was one thing I wanted to share.
Thank you.
Do you have any response to that? I have one more thing, but
Yeah, I can little bit response. Yes, thank you very much. I like your point about that sometimes you feel in the morning some bad thoughts in your head and it's difficult. And it's I think it's yeah, like you mentioned, we shouldn't be afraid of this because it's just because of purification. Even sattva guna, why sometimes it's difficult to be in sattva? Because sattva, it means you will see many things, and it's to be ready to see many things is not so easy. Sometimes you will see that you have a envy, you have a like lust, you have a anger, you have like material thoughts. Sometimes your devotional service is not pure. You want to enjoy your results. You want to get money for yourself, buy some nice stuff what you like, or use your position. You will see this more if you're in sattva. If you're not in sattva, you will think, okay, just I'm fine. And because of this, like it can be a little bit in beginning, like sattva guna said that it's bitter, but then it becomes sweet. And like I mean, I just mentioned this because we shouldn't afraid and understand that it will become sweet, but we shouldn't afraid of bitterness. It's okay, it comes. It's like Navina Nirada Prabhu said about Sankirtana. Sankirtana, especially in the beginning, if you don't go often, to approach persons can be difficult. For new people, it's like something like you have to overcome yourself to speak with people. He mentions it's about like a cold shower. Cold shower, he mentioned it's difficult to go to this cold shower. But when you take this cold shower, you feel release, you feel nice, refreshment. It's like Sankirtana also, and all these sattva things, they bitter can be. But if you have a proper knowledge, you will understand. Okay, I do this, and then I will feel sweet, real sweet.
Can I continue? Is it on this topic?
Yeah.
I just wanted to add regarding this Jamanga saying Mangalarti should be blissful, but sometimes we're facing some anxieties and for sure it's there as you responded, it's some purification. But also, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna here himself says in 3rd chapter, 33rd verse, that even a sage, a great wise man, they act they don't neglect their material nature. They try to understand it and use it for higher purpose. So we have main concentration, of course, Mangalarati is our main thing, but sometimes we know it's not very Brahminical just to do it out of duty or something, just pull your body into Mangalarati and just...
But Brahminical quality, it says that you do it out of duty.
Mangalarati is one of muhurtas. There's more muhurtas during the day, And a Brahmana, a wise sage, let's say, advanced devotee, he notes every part of the day and acts accordingly. It's required for your mind to be, used in a proper way, to be functioning in a calm, steady way, maintaining the proper mood, unchanging mood, unflinching mood, steady. So it's important that we engage in that way also. For example, in the evening we don't go and do some in evening the material nature functions also differently. During the day it's also it's best to do like work time. So it's important. It's not very that crucial. We don't take it very seriously, but it's important, and in that way you can use Mangalarti, Brahma Muhurta time for, with your biggest potential, because throughout the day you will act nicely and you will wake up in a proper mood, at least, even though you might be struggling in physical way or something, but it's, stability of a mind and everything, concentration. That's most important. Throughout the day we do everything for our morning sadhana. That's where we build up ourselves, where we grow.
But the conclusion of your comments that we have to follow Mangalarati or not necessary?
For sure, Mangalarati. It's
because
like
it helps us for this stability.
Huh?
It helps for stability of mind.
But my point is just we should note other muhurtas as well. For example, if
hurtas.
you do Mangalarati and you and you then if you rest throughout the day, in the evening you will be partying out. You want to do kirtan, Mahakirtan at night, which will result in your Mangalarati and interaction with devotees and everything.
No, kirtan is something transcendental, I think.
Of course, but
if you do something else, not kirtan, some hard work at evening, instead of organize some.
I'm just I made a joke, don't take it seriously. But
okay.
If you make a kirtan in the middle of a night, others might not be pleased by your kirtan, so there's conflicts and so on. So, to avoid it, so.
Thank you.
The one thing I wanted to note is this other topic about, what do you say? Oh yeah, this is a very interesting topic for me. I think about it a lot. How a person's life develops, and sometimes we say, you made a very nice point, very good explanation about, for brahmachari, he should understand, not only brahmachari, actually everyone should be striving for pure devotional service. And that means no expectations, no expectation of respect or position, or even being engaged according to one's nature. One should just do what's required in order to keep this Prabhupada's temple going and the mission going, and everything should be alive in proper order. That's good. But I would just add that it should be balanced a little bit, because there's when there's an emergency situation, then anyone can do anything. Even if there's a war suddenly, then the government can distribute weapons to the ordinary people, and they can use weapons. But when the war is finished, it's expected that they give the weapons back, and then they go back to their normal duties. So what I've noticed, in the brahmachari ashram in the West, is not so developed generally, but in India, when I was there, I was observing, it's more developed, and they do respect that if a person has a certain qualification or a certain age they reach or something, they do honor that by giving him an appropriate activity and service. And I think that's not bad. I think that's quite healthy. And I think that what's required is leadership. Because if the leaders themselves show a good example by going to the morning program with the devotees and chanting their japa early in the day, and going, an example is Svavas Prabhu in Los Angeles. He's very, very pakka. He's a householder for many, many years, but he's always with the devotees in the morning, and he chants his japa in the morning, and then he shows the example, and everyone's inspired by his example. They follow him. All the brahmacharis, all the grihastas, everyone knows Svavas Prabhu. So leadership is I would say it's a very big, big responsibility to take a leadership post. It's really huge responsibility. It's bigger responsibility than becoming a manager at a business or a CEO in a corporation. It's you're leading people. You're the example for people who are trying to reach God. So therefore, many people want to step into it, or they do step into it, but then they realize, it's too much for me. It's too much, because if there's not enough Shravanam Kirtanam and morning programs and things like that, then that sattvic touch, it falls away, and then it feels like materialistic activity, material work. So I would say for brahmacharis, they should be humble, but in the absence of leadership, then I think that I think it's also artificial in some ways to put a person in a position that's not exactly natural for them, because everyone has a natural activity, and it takes time to discover that. Obviously, I'm not saying everyone you should know their nature perfectly and engage them perfectly like that, but after years and time, gradually it starts to manifest, and you see what the person's qualities are and what they can do well and what fits them. So I think that's part of management. It's not, and that in the name of pure devotional service, if we ignore that and say, well, it's pure devotional service, Prabhu, then, I don't think it's good. A person, also if they're older and more mature, they should be honored, no matter what ashram they're in. They should be honored, and so that other people can learn from them and hear from them. Therefore, they should be given opportunities. And in devotional service, we don't discriminate that one service is high and one is low. For Krishna, it's absolute. So if someone's washing the pots or cleaning the floor, it's not that he's in a lower duty. It's a transcendental duty, and if he's in good consciousness, he can be on a higher level than a senior devotee who's just giving lectures all the time, if he's in the right consciousness. And if the senior devotee is proud of he's not really senior, but he has that position.
Yeah.
So the position isn't important, but I'm just saying, for the sake of order and conduct and like things like that, there should be like discrimination, to keep things orderly. But each individual, it's his own responsibility to follow pure devotional service. And it's also, and like Ayendra Prabhu, like he was cleaning the bathrooms, such a senior devotee, right?
Yeah.
But he would go and he would clean the bathrooms that the Guru coolies use. And that's like amazing, right? But no one was forcing him. He chose.
Yeah.
He said, this is my service to Krishna, and I want to clean the bathrooms to show Krishna that I'm sincere. I think I don't think you can force someone to do that. Like you said, I'm not saying you said that, but your emphasis was correct about like, it resonated that pure devotional service is something we each individually have to check ourselves. Do I have the proper motive in what I'm doing? And sometimes if we do menial service, cleaning the bathroom, for example, that can help us. But I don't think that Ayendra Prabhu the management should assign him to be the bathroom cleaner, and that's his main service, because they should see, okay, he does amazing kirtans, everyone's inspired, let's engage him. And then like the guru or the high level devotees, if they voluntarily go out for book distribution or clean the bathroom or something, that'll leave a big impression on the young devotees, because they'll see that that's true. Advanced devotees do get pleasure from even simple services. So that's just something that was going on in my head. Please forgive me if I overstepped or made any offense. But I just.
Oh, thank you. It's a good point about this proper management and proper arrangement. Yeah, like pure devotional service is something was we try by ourselves, but if we look on others, we not just we don't need to put someone in a pure devotional service. We try to serve devotees. Like devotees want to serve each other. There's a mood of devotee. They want to give to others good facilities to spark. How so they do? Fire the spark to give to him like something that he will be inspired, not to just fill gaps by someone. Yeah, I just mentioned. I wanted to say that I mentioned about this. Like sometimes like brahmachari or some temple residents, they use their position like some room or something. I just, for example, like if you're a senior, you have a good room, and some festival happens, many people come to the temple, and in some in some rooms it's filled like 10 people lying around, and you have your own room and you're just alone in this room and you're enjoying because you're senior, you use your position. But I think if you're like in the mood of service, you will think, okay, you will be conscious about what is going around. You will see, okay, so many devotees here, please come few to my room, and so you will not be attached. It's just one example. It can be very different. It can be like about anything. Or you're also senior, you live long time in the temple, you think, okay, I will use money for go to India. Temple money, instead of help to something, to maybe other people to do something like. Yeah, sometimes, of course, if it's required for our service to use money for ourselves, or I don't know, for some education, sometimes you need to, a little bit, if you need, I don't know, if you're some preacher or someone, you need to understand something. I mean, even sometimes you need to spend money for yourself, but for good purpose. Then could be if it's really proper. Yeah. Yeah, because Krishna, he knows everything, and he really likes. When he sees that we do devotional service, we're trying to spend our time to, like brahmachari, we distribute books, we do some preaching, and then we use this money to help arrange everything in the temple nicely, and to organize some other preaching. And when Krishna sees that, okay, I'm not just use this money for myself, he will see, oh wow, this devotee is really real. He really want to please me, and then he can be inspired by our he will give to us this higher taste, and this also, and even these feelings help to us to overcome all these difficulties, because devotional service is some challenges, some like different material desires come, and they trying to, Maya comes and trying to say to you, okay, maybe you're so much active in devotional service, please relax. But when you do pure devotional service, Krishna give you higher taste, and you will be so satisfied that you, even if Maya comes, you'll be more protected, because Krishna knows that, okay, in Bhagavad Gita how it says that my devotee will never perish. Yeah, and if you do good service, then Krishna protect us.
Well, I feel really nourished by this Bhagavad. Thank you very much for that. Please
Thank you.
read the verse one more time. Just so I can get that one
Yes.
all together.
One should never associate with materialists, those dedicated to gratifying their genitals and bellies. By following them, one falls into the deepest pit of darkness, just like a blind man who follows another blind man. Next verse also. The following song was sung by the famous Emperor Pururava. When deprived of his wife, Urvashi, he was at first bewildered, but by controlling his lamentation, he began to feel detachment. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, all Vaishnavas ki jai. Ekadashi ki jai, Bhagavad Prasadam ki jai.